Alright, let's be real. Most robotic lawnmowers are a complete joke. They get stuck on hoses, toys, or even your neighbor's garden stuff, and you end up doing more work than if you just mowed yourself. But I found a few cheap ones in 2026 that actually work and don't make your yard look like a disaster. Stick around because some of these will actually blow your mind for how good they are without costing a fortune. Alright, starting off with the Genie 600, which is basically the budget mower that decided to flex in all the other cheap models. If you've ever tried a bargain bin robotic mower, you know the heartbreak. It drifts off like it's on a mission, gets stuck on garden gnomes or planters, and leaves half your lawn looking like someone just scribbled on it. Genie 600? None of that nonsense. It comes equipped with this RTK plus 4i AI vision system. Basically, it sees your yard in a way that most mowers can only dream of. It maps everything in 3D, notices obstacles instantly, and can actually handle tight corners without turning your garden into a war zone. The auto mapping feature is a straight-up lifesaver. Forget spending hours training the mower like you're teaching a puppy. Genie 600 scans your yard in minutes, builds a full virtual map, remembers it, and even lets you block off over 20 no-go zones. Pools, flower beds, delicate vegetable patches, your neighbor's oddly shaped bonsai. Safe. The 45-pound frame and 7.9-inch cutting width hit a sweet spot between being nimble enough to navigate tricky spots but heavy enough to feel solid. And get this, intelligent hosting mode actually adjusts its mowing schedule based on grass growth, seasonal changes, and even local weather. That means if your grass suddenly decides to grow like it's auditioning for a jungle, the Genie 600 handles it without bugging you. Downsides? It's best for lawns under 0.23 acres, and finding one in the US might require some detective work. But if you manage to snag one, you're basically hiring a tiny robot gardener that doesn't complain, drink coffee, or forget corners. Next up, the YUKA Mini 500. If you live in a suburban or urban yard and want your lawn cut without it turning into a disaster scene, this is a good pick. Cheap mowers usually misread surfaces, slam into toys or hoses, and ignore narrow corners as if they don't exist. YUKA? Not happening. Its UltraSense AI vision, combined with RTK positioning, lets it distinguish grass from driveways, patios, decorative gravel, or anything else you've carefully arranged in your yard. Your lawn stays clean, and your stuff stays exactly where you put it. The object recognition system is honestly impressive. It has over 200 objects stored in its AI database, so it knows to avoid pets, hoses, toys, and even the weird gnome your neighbor keeps moving around. Setup is painless. Map your lawn in 10 minutes using the Memotion app, and the mower is ready to go. No frustrating trial and error like some of the cheaper options. It can tackle slopes up to 50% and vertical obstacles up to 1.4 inches, which covers most uneven yards, small hills, or raised patios. The cutting system is solid too. A floating disc and adjustable height, 20 to 60 millimeters, mean the grass comes out evenly trimmed, no awkward patches. You can set up 15 zones, block off areas, and even customize mowing patterns through the app, so it can cut your lawn almost like a game of backyard Tetris. At just 23 pounds and IPX6 waterproof, it's light, easy to clean, and you can roll it out even when there's morning dew without stressing. It costs a bit more than bare-bones models, but honestly, the combination of precision, convenience, and zero babysitting makes it worth it. Now we're getting serious. The Husqvarna 115H 4G is for suburban lawns up to 0.4 acres with tricky layouts. Forget GPS-only mowers that wander under trees or leave random patches untouched. It uses a boundary wire, which means it actually respects the lines you set. Flower beds aren't in danger of being demolished, and your neighbor's weird backyard sculpture survives another day. Installation is easier than you think. Lay the wire, plug in the charging station, and you're mostly done. The 9-inch cutting width plus 30% slope handling means it can tackle narrow corridors, uneven terrain, small hills, or weird yard shapes without whining or stopping for dramatic effect. The Automower Connect app lets you start, stop, or schedule the mower from anywhere, so even if you're at work or on vacation, your lawn isn't getting lazy. It's light at 20.7 pounds, ultra quiet, and won't wake up the neighborhood if you mow at 6 a.m. Security features like a built-in alarm and PIN code lock are handy if you live in a suburban area where random people apparently have a thing for robot mowers. Setting up the boundary wire is a little bit of extra work, but the payoff is consistent, stress-free mowing. Basically, if you want a lawn that gets cut without constant supervision, this is the sweet spot. Reliable, precise, and doesn't act like it has a personality disorder. All right, moving on to the GARDENA SILENO Minimo. This one's tiny but mighty, perfect for lawns up to 5,400 square feet. If your yard is tight, full of fences, planters, or weird little patios, this little guy handles it like a pro. Tight corners? No problem. Narrow passages? It slides through like it's doing parkour. Slopes up to 35%? Bring it on. And that 6.2-inch cutting width means it actually reaches those corners that bigger, clumsier mowers always skip. Finally, a mower that doesn't leave your lawn looking like a patchwork quilt.
The app is surprisingly handy. Bluetooth-enabled Easy app lets you schedule mowing, adjust cutting height, and monitor the mower remotely. So if you've got kids, pets, or just a life outside staring at your grass, you can keep it all in check without leaving the couch. Collision sensors and boundary wire work together to prevent accidental destruction of flower beds, ornaments, or small pets. Yes, it's smart enough to avoid your cat or dog, at least most of the time. It's super quiet too, 57 decibels, so you can mow at 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. without pissing off the neighbors. At just 13.2 pounds, it's ridiculously easy to carry, move, or store during the off-season. Sure, it can't cover giant lawns like some competitors, but for small urban lawn owners who value convenience, precision, and sanity, it's basically perfect. No drama, no babysitting, and no random surprises. Just a clean lawn. Finally, the budget champ, Redkey MGC 500. If your lawn is small, up to 0.12 acres, this is probably the most practical, no-nonsense option out there. It does the basics extremely well: consistent mowing, minimal supervision, and reliable navigation. With 393 feet of boundary wire plus breakpoint detection, it stays on track while avoiding flower beds, patios, kids' toys, or your neighbor's inflatable flamingo collection. Its 23.6-inch cutting width and ability to handle 45% slopes let it tackle uneven terrain or small hills without complaining. Runtime is around 70 minutes, which is usually enough for a small yard, and the auto recharge feature makes it go back to its dock, charge, and resume mowing without any handholding. The 35-pound aluminum frame makes it durable, but still easy to move or store. Now, yes, it's simple. No fancy AI mapping, no app-based control, no multi-zone customization, but that's the beauty of it. It's reliable, stress-free, and does exactly what you need without extra bells and whistles. Small yard, low budget, don't want to babysit a robot? This is your guy. Simple, sturdy, and totally dependable. So that's it. 5 cheap robotic mowers in 2026 that actually do their job without turning your lawn into a disaster. Some of these are way better than you'd expect for the price, and honestly, a couple of them surprised me. If you want your yard cut without wasting hours or dealing with broken robots, one of these is definitely worth checking out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which one you'd actually trust to mow your lawn.